Our guest today is Trey McAlister. He's an executive director with BNI, and he's a networking expert. So thanks for being here.
It's a pleasure. Thanks, Reese.
One of the things you talk about is developing referral sources. Mm-hmm. So from those we know. So you've met a bunch of people at wherever you've met them.
Right.
And then how do you decide who are your referral sources and how then do you develop them? There's that whole concept of actually grooming them and them grooming you
right.
to be effective referral partners.
Well, the starting point is you take all those cards and stick it in a big bowl, and you just pull it out, and that's the one that you want. No, sometimes I'm being facetious, of course, but a lot of times people think that. They collect all these business cards, and they go, okay, now where do I go? It goes back to the whole relationship component. And if people have that, this is my message, this is the type of client I wanted, these are the types of professions, then they can start there. There's an article out there called 10 Steps to Networking a Mixer, or networking or attending a networking event. And it's a really effective way to help make networking events be more successful. I could show people in a short amount of time how to, in 1 hour, get 10, 100 times more out of that networking event and be able to leave than if they were there for the full 3 or 4 hours that most networking events are. Mm-hmm. And it's all about focus. It's about why are you there. For example, before you go into an event, have a goal. How many people do you want to meet? And what type of people? And I'm not talking about are they wearing hats or business clothes. It's, for example, you mentioned, okay, let's just keep the example of videographer. So you're looking for web design companies and enterprise marketers.
Right.
So marketing consultants that deal with enterprise companies.
Right.
Okay, so you would go into a networking event, assuming that you did a little homework ahead of time and went, okay, I know that this chamber event or this business expo was going to have a good number of those people there. So you would go in there going, okay, I want to meet 6 people. 3 and 3, 4 and 2, you would decide. And so you would start having conversations with people there. What do you do? How long have you been at it? And generally when you, even, we were talking earlier about introvert versus extrovert, and because there's some people that may be listening to this going, oh, I hate crowds of people or I don't like it. The funny thing is they might describe themselves as being more introverted. My experience has been is that the introvert types of folks, when they're focused and wanting to grow their business, they're actually more effective networkers because they listen better than some of the more extroverted folks, because who are just bouncing around. They connect people, but they're not necessarily listening as well as the introverts. So introverts and extroverts both can be very successful in networking if they have a focus on making it be successful.
You have to overcome that fear of like walking into the little circle and
saying something.
Introducing yourself.
It's just a matter of, do we worry about it or do we look at how can I be more effective so I can do what I want to do, which is my business.
Right.
And so when you're out there, you reach out to those 6 or 7 people, going back to the example we were talking about earlier, and you have a conversation, and one of the best ways that I've found to, and these aren't just magic words in and of themselves, it's just some variation upon that, is, Reese, it was really nice to meet you. You're in video production. I don't know if you're interested, but would you be open to meeting at a different time out of this setting to see how we can support one another? And you're going to basically say yes or no. I mean, if we clicked in some way, because networking events, loud, lots of people, not a lot of time to develop a relationship. So I'm looking at that networking event as an opportunity to highlight a few folks to see whether or not can we sit down over a cup of coffee to see whether or not we're able to support one another. And that's the key thing. How do I help you and how do you help me?
Right.
And
in those folks that you mentioned that I'm trying to meet, these aren't the people I'm trying to sell my services to.
No, great point. People walk in to a networking event because they've been told or somehow heard that I got to go to these networking events to get business.
Right.
And that's the I think the discrepancy there. You go to networking events to start the process to turn into business. You ask 100 people that are at a networking event, were they hoping to get business? 90 of them would probably say yes, but all 100 would say they weren't there to get sold. And that's, so if I go in there thinking, I want to talk to you because I want to make you my prospect, my client. It happens.
Right.
But it's not as effective as me going, okay, I'm a enterprise marketer, you're a videographer. Let's see if in a half-hour sit-down over coffee, when it's not everything going crazy, we might be able to work together and start that relationship process. And if you know what, the worst that comes out of it is we both get a cup of coffee and a half an hour of conversation. The best that comes out of it, it turns into a long-standing relationship that generates hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars for one or both of us.